3-week-old baby, and soon after he was born, our daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. And then 6 months into her treatment, she was severely burned along with our second son in a maple syrup accident. Our daughter was life flighted to Ann Arbor, our son was taken by ambulance, and it was a very dark time in our life. So I don't know if any of you guys remember 2008 when the crash happened. So during that time, we were sitting in a burn and trauma unit. We'd been there for 3 days. 2 of our children were admitted. My mom would bring my son to be nursed, to take him away because he's not allowed to be in a trauma unit. We got a call. And that call truly felt like a Job moment. The company that my husband was working for had gone bankrupt and we no longer had a job. So I remember sitting there thinking, it's only truly up from here. And so that started a whole cycle of no income, wrapping burns every 12 hours. And during that time, because there was no work, my husband was looking for jobs everywhere, but he had to be close to home to help me take care of the children. So I went back to work as a naturopath and was trying to do the best to do this all between babies. And that started a journey that I never want to relive, but you know how God always redeems moments. And so it was during that time of wrapping burns, of nursing my children, of seeing clients in between, and just kind of going through all of that we had a call from Kentucky that changed our life. We'd been without work for a year, and my husband was in the logging industry over that time, and he got a call from Kentucky that said, would you want to come down and just show us how to run some logging equipment? So he said, sure. That started a long journey. I'm going to skip that part of it, but I was able to be a naturopath for an Amish community. We were the only English people there, and my husband had a job an hour away at a post mill. And so it was during that time I saw clients from 6 in the morning if they were in our area, and I saw clients till sometimes 11 at night. I even treated horses with cracked hooves, and I read James Herriot, knew it was pine tar that they needed. So, but what I started to notice was, after having been through several years of trauma, that my body was starting to respond and catch up with me. I had gone into survival mode as moms, like we do, and taking care of everybody that needed to be taken care of. And I started seeing symptoms of where my heart would race when I would hear someone coming to the door. I started gaining 40 pounds. I actually gained 40 pounds in 1 year eating the perfect diet. And believe me, diet is something we didn't cheat on because my daughter had cancer. We were eating so good, but it was literally my body slowly starting to crash. I had anxiety attacks that kept getting worse and worse until it turned into crippling anxiety. And there was a moment that really, I remember that moment marking my life. I ended up in ER because I thought I was dying, but it was actually an anxiety attack. And I had this older gentleman doctor, and he took my hand and he held my wrist and he said, honey, you're not having a heart attack, you're just having a panic attack. And I was hyperventilating at the moment. He said, I would recommend you go on anti-anxiety meds. The crazy thing is, 80% of what I dealt with on a daily basis in my practice was mental health. I knew what to do, but I didn't do it for me. And so when he said that, I said thank you, I didn't choose to take them, but I went home and I thought I have to take care of myself. I can't crash. And during that time in Kentucky, I was homeschooling, had a full-time practice, we had a huge garden, raised our own meat, we were super busy because we had to get our finances back. During that time, and over the past 8 months preceding up to that, I had kept hearing about Plexus. I had clients who were asking me about Plexus. I was reading stories that were truly amazing about Plexus, but I had no desire whatsoever to add something more to my plate. But it was late one night and I was scrolling and I saw a testimony about weight loss, because I thought at that time pink drink, slim, weight loss. And then I also saw a testimony about someone who had gone through what my daughter had amazing results. And so I thought, it was a desperate moment. I was having such crippling anxiety. My thyroid had crashed. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to look into it. And that was November, almost 10 years ago. I started taking every product, and I went over every single ingredient of every single product. It was in November that I didn't sleep. Because right away, as soon as I started to research Plexus, really look into it, I started noticing something was different. So I called my friend and I just ordered the basic Fab 4, which we're going to talk about today. And I got it for me and my daughter. Her results the first week were so outstanding that it was what the catalyst that had me say, okay, there is something truly different here. So in my research of every ingredient and every product, putting out the most nerdy, and at the time non-compliant posts, I didn't even know what compliance was. I started getting calls of people saying, well, what is this, would this help me? Would this help me for this? Would this help me for that? I started incorporating it into my practice. Completely took my practice to another level. The results I see were outstanding. So what I want to bring to you here today, as someone who's been in the health industry for 20 years, Stu said, or Jamie said I should say, I am a naturopath doctor, a GAPS practitioner, a nutritional counselor. I love all things health. So when I was weighing these products against what I was using, that you had to have a license to sell, and I was comparing them back and forth, I seen the results for myself, I seen the results for my daughter, for my people that were coming to my practice. I was blown away. Because what Plexus was doing with these products was the same thing that I was doing in my practice, having amazing results for my clients. In fact, the oncologist told us in all his years of treating pediatric cancer, he's never seen a cancer patient like my daughter. So I knew what I had been doing before was working. And I knew how to get results, I just had to apply it to me. So I started taking the Fab 4, and I started sharing with what I was doing. And what we call the Fab 4 is the pink drink. Anybody here taking that? The ProBio 5, the Bio Cleanse, and the X Factor. And during my research, I'll try to keep this very compliant. What was so exciting to me is there's thousands of supplements on the market. I've been approached with every company I think that there is. I had amazing good supplements. But where Plexus did the same thing that I practiced as a GAPS practitioner, naturopath, targeting root causes of gut health, inflammation, and blood sugar. Blood sugar, inflammation, and gut health. And this is what I was doing with the Fab 4. Our paint drink is truly one of the best blood sugar balancers I've ever seen. And I've tried so many over the years for my clients. But it also targeted gut health. And when you bring your blood sugar into balance, your body can come into balance and heal so much faster, and that's what I was seeing. No more afternoon crashes. And that was a really big deal because I felt I was literally crashing in the afternoon. Started taking the ProBio 5. That's the one that I kind of made fun of over the 8 months that I was looking at it. Because I said, you have to have a license to sell the one I'm selling. What is so special about this? When I looked into it, I had to sell 3 separate supplements to cover the bases that the ProBio 5 did. And when you start to clean up the gut and you start to reestablish good microbiome and clean out the junk, that is where the true healing comes from or starts, because our gut is the epicenter of our health. And then the Bio Cleanse. So I'm so much about word pictures. If a car goes into a car wash, a car needs to come out of the car wash. If you keep putting cars in the car wash and no cars come out, you have a traffic jam. If we eat 3 meals a day, we should be having 3 good bowel moments a day. Or like I told in the Amish community meetings, if a buggy goes in the barn, a buggy needs to come out of the barn. And so if you have buggies going into the barn and no buggies coming out, there's a problem. There's a buggy hold up, whatever you want to call that. So Bio Cleanse was so amazing because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but when you're under stress, stress is one of the biggest disruptors of our gut microbiome. I have been under a lot of stress, and so many of us have good stress, bad stress, hard stress, it doesn't matter. And so my digestive system needed that support. And then the X Factor. With our soil depletion, with our pollution, with all the things that our body faces, the one thing that everybody should be on is a multivitamin. Our multivitamin is second to none. And one quick nerd moment before I wrap up. Our X Factor Plus had a microbiome activating complex. Basically, it helps our absorption. The vitamins, the minerals, the antioxidants that we need. Everybody needs to be on a multivitamin. And when I looked at this one, it not only was a multivitamin, it was a multivitamin that supported gut health. And so what I wanted to share with you guys today is, can you look in the eyes of somebody and say that Plexus works? And that's what I started doing, is being able to look with confidence and say, I have something that truly can change your health. So my husband and I, we started seeing the opportunity. I was never, I won't say what I said, but I was never, ever going to do a business. My plate was so full and overflowing. But when I saw what it did to my health, in 16 months, none of the issues I dealt with, they were gone. The weight started coming off, the anxiety was gone, none of my circumstances changed. But my body had the tools to truly get at the root of what it was. So I started sharing, and like you said, had an accidental business. But this accidental business sparked something in us. We had been desperate for finances. We were desperate to get out of the scrap of, literally we had a car that we duct taped our windows shut to go down the road. Looked like I was in prison when I waved at people. I did wave at people through the passenger side. But we saw the opportunity to be able to have something different. I wanted my husband home again. As stressful as it was to have him home the year with no finances, we had a goal, and we wanted to move back to Michigan. It's so hot in Kentucky. Anyways, so we started sharing, and we had a goal. We said, if we can get you back home, what could our life actually be? So we started sharing Plexus because of the results, and actually took on an opportunity as busy as life is. You can never be too busy to start to not do something that can change your life. To sum it up, my husband has been home for 9 years. We've been a family of 5 on just Plexus. It's truly transformed our lives. So if you're here today and you're wondering, do these products work? 1,000%. Does the opportunity work? It does if you do. And it's not selling when you share from your heart, when you can look in someone's eyes and say, I truly can help you if you're willing to go all in. We truly can make a difference if you're willing to go all in. And having walked on the side of cancer with my daughter, my mom, and now thousands of people over the years, and over the last 10 years with so many people, I encourage you to be proactive about your health. Because at some point in time, if we don't pay for our health now, we're going to pay for it later at a much higher price. So you may not be here with a lot of health issues. You may be feeling amazing. But my entreaty to you is be proactive. Go on it to prevent something if you can, or go on it to support your health. I can't say that. Go on it to support your health. Because what makes Plexus different is the question I get asked the most, the last thing I'll wrap it up with. What makes Plexus different than anything else, than the amazing good supplements on the market, is Plexus is targeting the root causes of why we don't have the best in health. Gut health, inflammation, and blood sugar. They're not just good products, they're outstanding products. And they're worth your time to look into, as is the opportunity. So if you're sitting here with dreams, I encourage you to talk to the person who invited you, because Plexus truly, for so many of us, has been an answer that we've looked for in both our health and our finances.